users and our customers and how they are the same and different. And what is unique about intrapreneurship versus entrepreneurship?
So this is Tucson is 3 years old, just about right now. Yeah, so we are an all local, all digital media brand, and we're building it under the umbrella of this legacy newspaper company, the Arizona Daily Star, the local newspaper. This is our app. It's free. We would love if you get it and try it out. So what we are is, we're a content company, and we put stories on email newsletters, social media, this app, website, lots of places.
So we're working in an industry that is in total disruption, like maybe literally on fire. So that means a lot of things for us, which is that we're trying to save local news because we think it's important to our democracy, which when we tell you about what we do, seems like it's not connected, but it is. We're working on This is Tucson as kind of a lab and an experimental place where we can try to think about what digital media will look like in the 21st century and to make it sustainable, which is the really important part.
Dang, no pressure.
Yeah, no big deal.
So we started working on This is Tucson when we were doing our regular jobs as journalists. 3 years ago, Irene was running all of the Star's social media and doing a rock star job of that. I was a beat reporter covering local government and elections. And our top boss came to us and said, "Hey, we've got a problem. Young people aren't reading the newspaper. Go." And so we started trying to work on that problem. So being content creators, we immediately started thinking of like this long list of story ideas that we could write that young people might be interested in. And we thought, like, it's got to be an app, it's got to be on their phone, and hopefully you see the red flag right now in that we were doing this, if you build it, they will come sort of. We're headed down this path. So this is us watering the corn on the field of dreams.
So the problem that they came to us about, and the problem that we were seeing in our stats and our analytics, and that I was seeing every day looking at who was on our website. So Tucson.com is the digital arm of the Arizona Daily Star, and we knew that there were only 11% of our users on Tucson.com who were in that millennial age group, which for purposes of this discussion are like 24 to just under 40 at this point. So we knew that we didn't have a large audience there. We knew we didn't have the stats, but we know that they don't tend to be subscribers of the daily print product. We also knew that only 143 women had used our app in the last month, young women, and so that was the Star's problem. That was the problem that the Star was trying to solve.
So about the same time, I kind of crashed into the idea of lean innovation when I took a workshop with Heather Hiscox from Moves the Needle. Learned about the lean business model canvas, and I soaked up everything I could learn about this concept, like reading library books, finding StartUp Tucson, and getting everything I could from their resources. 10 West was another awesome resource for just learning everything I could. So a few months into that, Moves the Needle was doing like a final pitch day presentation for some of their teams, and that's when they were talking about the lean innovation process, and that's when I realized, like, oh my God, we have talked to 0 people about what they actually want from a local news product, and so Irene and I kind of put that on to start going down a different path.
Yeah, so this is a problem in newspapers in general. Like, I think this is probably where that kind of media elite idea comes from, right? That we know what you want. So Becky luckily forced us to turn that around and think about asking.
We started that process by talking to just 7 real people in the world about how they get their news. That's the only question we asked. And then shut up and listen. How do you get your news? Tell me everything. And so a big insight from that just quick round of user talks was that millennials don't always seek out the news. They care about the news, but they tend to bump into it on places like Facebook or their other social channels. So from there we did a survey.
Yeah, we did a big survey that we posted on Tucson.com, but the way we framed it was definitely at young women and families. And we got, I think, about 200, 300 responses from that, and we're able to kind of identify a problem from that, which was people were having, young women and families especially, were having trouble finding things to do in Tucson. The problem wasn't that there wasn't anything to do. The problem was that there wasn't a consistent information source that told people where to find things to do.
So then we did face-to-face interviews with 25 women who were in that target market, these women actually, and what we talked to them about was we asked them to explain their jobs as the family entertainment planner and the family budget manager. So what is it like to have to plan your kid's weekend? What is it like to try to find something that's affordable? And really worked on that empathy.
So we identified this problem and we created a persona for this person. Her name is Jessica. We talk about Jessica all the time. There's writers in this room and we talk about our budget meetings in the morning on Monday morning where we're like, so would Jessica read that though? Like literally call her Jessica because that was the most common name in 1984, which is the age that we were looking at. So we created a persona around Jessica and we knew a lot of things about her at this point, which was like, she's 31, she's got kids, she's a local here, but maybe not from here. She loves it here, which was an important insight. She wants to be a part of her community here and wants to read positive things about this place, which was also an important insight. And it was hard for her to find inexpensive things to do in Tucson.
And important for us, we went all in on this problem.
Right.
We are relentlessly focused on this problem, not our boss's problem of young people aren't reading newspapers.
Right.
So if we were to put This is Tucson on a business model canvas,
Which we did.
This is the solution that we think about. This is how we solve Jessica's problem. So we had to, at this point, we had to get corporate buy-in to keep this thing going. So we think of our corporate parent at the Arizona Daily Star and their parent, Lee Enterprises, as sort of our angel investors. Like they are giving us the resources to get this project going. So we pitched this to corporate vice president, and he said go, but his advice at the time was, we're all in, but right now you've got nothing.
Build the thing, build the audience was what they wanted. They wanted us to prove the concept. So we made a prototype and we set out to test it and to show them that this was going to be successful. One of the things that we heard from people was that they bump into content, and one of the ways they bump into content is through push notifications on their phone, so notifications on your lock screen. So we set out to build an app, like at the beginning, only for the lock screen notification so that you could bump into it. We have developers at the Star who helped us, but this prototype was me just using Photoshop.
We were really lucky that we had Irene. She's got a background as a designer, so we had all her design skills ready.
So we made this prototype and we took it out to people and we asked them to sit with it and try it out. And they did that, and we used content that we were already producing for the Star, but that wasn't framed this way. So we were already making some of this stuff, but we weren't delivering it to people in the places where they were. So we used that content in the prototype. And then we did a smoke test where we were trying to figure out, well, will people actually download this? Because people will tell you that they think your thing is very cute and they would totally download it. But like, will they download the thing? So we bought a Facebook ad that used all of our kind of visuals that we were working with and told people that we had this app that would do these things. We used the wording from our kind of like, our mission statement and our, like, all the things that we've gotten down to, and we targeted the ad to parents and young women who live in the Tucson area, and we said, we have this great app, don't you want to download it? And made the button say download now. But when you click the download now button, it went to a Google form that said, hey, not quite ready yet, I'm really sorry, but thank you for being a beta tester, like, put your email in here and we will let you know when the thing is ready. And 300 people clicked at that download now button, and that was a big percentage of the audience that we had pushed it to. And so we were able to take that data to our higher ups and say, like, we can see that people will download this, and that was the thing that got them to say yes to that developer time for us.
So we soft launched that summer 3 years ago, and we quickly got about 4,000 Facebook followers. And for perspective, that was the same summer that Rock Martinez was painting the Agave Goddess mural. So that feels like an institution. Woo! Okay. All right. So this is where we're at today. Irene and the team are creating high quality content every day.
Yeah, we've grown that audience. So we're doing that in this one. So one of the things is, that we've realized as we've gone, and one of the things that we fought for at the beginning was having a large staff, which in a traditional startup is not doable a lot of times, but because of the way we were situated inside that entrepreneurship model, we were able to do. And it's actually turned out to be the thing that allows us to be the top media producer in this kind of market. Because it turns out that it's very difficult to create content, as newspapers know, and that it pays to have people who know what they're doing, and it pays to be consistent and high quality all the time. And it's a hard thing to do, and it's a hard thing to invest in because writers cost a lot because they're good at their jobs. But that has honestly been the thing that's allowed us to just grow that audience incredibly quickly, and to grow it really well, and to grow a really loyal audience, is having a really good set of writers. This is our product stack, and Becky has helped us develop a lot of these, and some of them came from the beginning, and some have been created afterward. Facebook, we have a page, we have a group, we have a messenger bot. It's another way to bump into our content. It kind of texts you when there's a new story. We have 2 email newsletters now. We have multiple guides, schools, summer camps, weddings. We have an Instagram account that we're growing right now, and we're on Best of Tucson for Tucson Weekly, so go for it. We have our native app. We have some sticker apps. Also, there are some actual physical stickers on there if you'd like one. We are on Apple News, and we are doing live events.
So speaking of events, sometimes people just need to get information face to face. So when we were doing our empathy work, we heard over and over again how hard it is to pick out a school for your kid. There's a lot of school options in Tucson, and it's hard to find the right choice that meets your kid's needs. So that's one of the things that we help with in person.
I think one of the things we heard for that too is like, I get that information from word of mouth. And so we were trying to think about what information we can provide as writers, and then try to think beyond that to like, how can we provide that via word of mouth? And a live event was the answer to that for us, even though we're a media company. It's a way for us to serve our readers. And that's the main goal of this is Tucson, is to help our readers. So, new thing coming this September is a Babies, Mamas, Papas Fair. Ruben back there is helping us. And we're working on a new April event as well.
Right, so at the beginning we mentioned our users are not the same as our customers. Our users are our readers, but our customer is typically an event sponsor or an advertiser. So we're also trying to do advertising differently at This Is Tucson. We're doing it much more like a story because advertisers want to tell people a story about their business. They don't necessarily want to buy a blinky box, and we know our audience hates those blinky boxes. So we're trying some different things with that. All right. So we also think of a separate value proposition for our customer versus our user. So we think the value proposition for our advertisers is that we help introduce them to these people who are using ad blockers and might not even see their ads in other places. Irene often talks about that as like getting a first date with our audience. We have really great click results, and people turn out.
So our users are not our customers yet, but that's the next thing that we're looking at. So we're working to launch a membership program for our audience, which is a funny thing to try to explain to a newspaper, because newspapers obviously understand subscription. So you pay me, I give you a thing, done. Our idea is more about the fact that our audience wants to support us, and so we're trying to find ways to make that happen. We've got a big fellowship from the Tao Center for Digital Journalism at Columbia University, and we're working with News Revenue Hub, which is an organization that helps local news launch membership programs.
And we're running tests on this right now. So right now on our website, certain subsets of our users are getting a pop-up box that invites them to become a member by now. But again, when you click that button, it's going to tell you, we're not quite ready yet, coming soon, but we're counting the say versus do. So if people say they're going to give us some money, would they click a button to give us some money?
Yeah. And we're changing these messages too, trying to see like what is the message that people are interested in, and we'll make them click that. And You know, as we go to, we're looking at what is the pricing structure for that? What is the value to people? What can we give them in return? Do they want us to give them anything in return? What does this look like for engagement too? I really love the idea of our users supporting us because I'm so interested in supporting them, and so it feels like a really nice circle of engagement and support.
Right, so we kind of crashed into entrepreneurship on our career paths. You wanna talk
Yeah, so there are a couple ways up through a company, right? Like as you're moving through a traditional company, one of them is the traditional path, which is in a newspaper tends to be the very traditional path is like, you're a paper delivery person, and then you're a copy editor, and then you're a writer, and then you're an editor, and then you retire. That's door one. And it's not available to everyone, right? Like especially if you're not one of the groups who would get that chance all the way through. And especially if you're young, because that's not an option anymore. The second one is you kind of go up to the next place. So you become a writer, then you go to the, Post-Dispatch, and then you go to the New York Times, and like that's your path up, is that you're leaping from paper to paper. But there's a third door, and the third door is like, I've written my last 3 job descriptions. So, and that's a testament to our company, I think, that they would let us do that, but it's also a testament to the fact that like you can find the problem and solve the problem, and that's your third door. Like if you see something that's not working inside your company, there is often an option to go try to fix it and become something else, and Becky has done the same thing.
So if you're stuck in a place as an innovator where you're like, should I quit my job, should I go start my own thing, there might be something else, which is creating your own thing within your company. Right, so I totally stole this slide from someone else. The differences between being an intrapreneur and an entrepreneur. Also, thank you 10 West for ever having learned the word intrapreneur. That's the first place I ever heard that word.
That's what we are.
Yeah. So the way you get resources is different. Again, like you might go out as a startup in the traditional space, you might go out and look for investors. For us, it's about like justifying our ideas to our existing bosses, things like that. So the downside of that is, as a startup, let's say you need a Square account, you just go set one up. For us, we spend a lot of time like making sure it's an approved corporate partner, right? So there's a lot of things like that we come across. On the other hand, like we have sort of more career stability, like we are, salaried and getting health benefits and that kind of thing. Okay. So if you want to go it your own way, these are some of my favorite resources that I recommend. I just want to point out that a couple of these are like specifically for news nerds, but a lot of these are general and helpful for everyone.
If you want to help us succeed, there are a couple ways you can help us. You can follow us on one of our channels. You could attend one of our events. You could introduce us to an advertiser or an agency or a marketer. You could become a member.
Coming soon.
You could mentor us about revenue models. We're always interested. I think we get stuck in this media box of like advertising is our revenue, and so we're always interested in hearing about like things that are outside of our experience.
Or you could ask us about the future of journalism. Just kidding. Don't ask us. We don't know the answers, but we're trying to figure it out at least in our small local way.
To talk about it for hours.
Yeah. All right.
That's it.
So we have a few minutes for questions. Do folks have questions? Jack?
So this is really cool and interesting and innovative, but it seems to be totally redefining what local news is. I mean, it's not really news.
Yeah, this is like
So what do you-
lifestyle brand. Yeah, lifestyle media. So the same way you might pick up like a cooking magazine, you wouldn't think of that as news, but it is sort of like information.
So
And is the idea that those people become loyal and read the news in other ways? I mean, you mentioned democracy specifically, so.
yeah. So the idea is that we're thinking about what does new sustainability look like in the future, and we're working on that on the low-hanging fruit. And the low-hanging fruit is really kind of entertainment and lifestyle, right? Like that's an easy thing to get you to read. It doesn't take a lot for me to be like, there's a new restaurant. People are like, where is it? Right? Aside from, there's corruption. Like people pull back from that. And so we want to solve that problem too, but we're starting in a place where we know that people are already super engaged. It's the low-hanging fruit of
But
what we
yes,
want to
we
do.
hope to take what we learned from
Yeah.
Business Tucson and apply it to other like coverage areas, especially watchdog journalism, which we think is so vital.
Yeah, that is what we mean by save democracy. Is like we're thinking about the model so that we can take that and apply it in a larger sense to the stuff that's super important. Very back.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great idea. I mean, when I moved here, my kids were young, and I felt, I moved here from Manhattan, and I thought, wow, it's just so hard to find. There are things, but it's impossible to find them unless somebody tells you.
Right.
But I think that now that I have a 15 and 17-year-old, it's even harder. Like,
Oh, yeah,
for
we've
that
heard
age
that.
group to find, because they're on social media all the time, and I like really try to find things for that age group that are interesting, not, too young, and it's
Tricky.
impossible.
I know,
So,
that's not the first time
Yeah.
we've heard that actually from fixers. It's like it's hard to find stuff for teenagers.
Yeah.
Are you taking the methods that you use to entertain and provide value to people and thinking of ways that you can apply it to, say, topics of corruption, where you can frame it in a manner that is more positive and more serving of empowering your reader rather than causing them to feel like, I don't want to read this?
That's funny. I just had a very long discussion with somebody at Columbia about this weekend, about how corruption is a thing that makes people angry at you, the messenger. And so it's a tricky thing to do in this way. So I think what we're learning, and Johanna is here and can kind of, and is actually very, very good at this thing in particular, is writing a story really thoughtfully and including a lot of solutions. And this is a thing in local news right now, or in national news, called solutions journalism, where you go in looking at the things that are going wrong with an eye toward what other people are doing to fix it and what you might do to fix it. Like, we find when we write too that helps a lot, is to just add a box at the bottom that says, if you want to help this woman who's having this trouble, whatever it is, like, here's how you can help them. And it just makes you feel a little less desperate and sad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, all of us are on social media right now and know how bad news can make you feel, and so I think we think about that really thoughtfully. But we do have an easier time because
Cool.
we're writing
Yeah.
the lighter stuff, right? Yeah. Yes.
Your focus groups and all was centered on women. What percentage of men are looking at this, and are we not interested?
30%. 30% of our audience.
So why do
men.
you not interview men? Shouldn't you get that to 50%?
Do you want to talk about that?
I'll tackle it. Yeah, we get that question a lot. I guess some things are like a lot of media is already actually made for men. It's just that people aren't like really thinking that through, or it's not it just happens as a result of bias. But we think that when we focus super tightly on our prototype person, Jessica, that we also reach actually a lot of people who kind of are adjacent to that. So we're trying to talk to moms, but we also reach a lot of dads and grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles and people who just like to go out to new restaurants who maybe don't have kids. So by focusing really tightly on our core audience, we also have like a lot of secondary audiences that we think about.
Call it a halo effect, and we do see that audience is kind of growing as we get bigger and bigger. That halo audience is getting bigger and bigger as well. But it allows us as writers to ask that question, like, would Jessica read this? And it makes our writing better, and it makes the quality better, and it makes our writing more useful.
I think our engagement levels with this product are so good because we know who we're talking to.
It makes a big difference.
It's helping our model.
If you are writing or working in the kind of digital media space and you don't know who you're talking to, like, that is your problem. So figure out who it is you're talking to and then talk to them like they want to be talked to, which is an important piece of it, right? Like, if our audience was sports, which you've looked at, it would be a very different voice. Our voice is different than the star's voice. And it's because we know who we're talking to and we're talking to them specifically. And it makes them feel engaged and seen and heard, and it makes them feel like they're part of the product.
We have time for one more question.
Yeah.
So what resource or what did you stumble on that made you realize the things that you didn't know that you had to work on?
Actually, the first thing I ever read was a book called The $100 Startup. And actually, my boyfriend handed it to me. He's like, you should read this. I'm like, I'd read anything, sorry. But in the back of my mind, I kept thinking about, like, man, how could we apply that to journalism to be like more innovative, and how could we help change more quickly? And then yeah, I think the next thing was resources from a group called Moves the Needle. They're a consultancy based here in Tucson. And then stumbled into StartUp Tucson, and there's really a lot of resources available.
There was also, our editor had gone to a journalism conference and heard a lot about design thinking in journalism and how that works, and we used a lot of that in conjunction to think about that audience, the audience and the persona question about who we were talking to.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
I hate to poke holes, but is this, now this is becoming successful, obviously. Is this not dumbing down the news, and that there's not going to be any focus on the other side of the news, because they're going to look at this and your bosses are going to go, gee whiz, let's just do media and fashion and the heck with doing
but
it.
again, like we're really, with this product, we're very focused on Jessica, her problem of being the family entertainment planner. But under the Arizona Daily Star umbrella, we have a lot of other products, some of which I work on and some of which are other people's problems, but different products that are more about hard news issues, and even products that are about sports or products that are about opinion. So
I think
we have a lot to work on, and we know that.
That comes up a lot though, where people are like, but people only want to read about cats, so journalism will die. Like, that's not the problem. The problem is that we don't have enough advertising revenue to support enough writers to be the watchdog for a government. The problem is that we can't go to every city council meeting because we don't have enough money to hire a reporter to go to every city council meeting. And so what we're trying to figure out with this is like, what does digital value look like, and how can we sell that so that we can take it back to the Star and reinvest in the Star and make sure that there's a reporter at every city council.
So you're going to carry that reporter in.
We're thinking bigger.
Yeah.
We're using this as a vehicle to think about local news in a very big sense.
All right, so one point I just wanted to say is I think this is a great example of lean experimentation. So if you guys have never heard of lean experimentation, talking to Irene and Becky about the little experiments that they did. So that is what we teach at StartUp Tucson. Is very much like, before you spend thousands of dollars building your app, see if somebody will give you their email. Because that's tangible. Like they didn't give you $5, they gave you your email, and that means something. So the buttons that they put in where they link you to a Google form, like nobody's mad about that. You're just now excited that in 2 weeks you might get to buy the product. But you can test, you can A/B test messaging like you guys are doing. I just think that's a really great example.
And you can use Facebook for a lot of that, which everybody kind of has access to in one form or another. So if you have like $200 to put behind it, you can run your own tests through Facebook. You don't have to have a website that's got a huge audience on it.
We'll stick around and answer any other questions.